Hello again, Bob Dispenza here at Metea County Park. Time for us to go out on another trail hike to look for what kind of wildflowers are starting to come up now and out and showing, and anything else interesting we find along the trails. Remember that this is a state nature preserve and everything needs to stay where it is. No picking or removing of things, but you're welcome to enjoy and take pictures. And trails are a little less muddy than they were last week. Let's hope that holds out. Let's go see. Just coming up in a lot of places is spring beauty. It has long skinny leaves. Growing in among it are some trot lily leaves also. But the spring beauties are out and blooming, and a few early pollinators are out looking for them. Things like bee flies and some other kinds of small bee relatives. They're all out trying to pollinate these early flowers, one of the first ones that comes up in the spring here along the trails. One of the earliest trees that's going to be coming out is buckeye. Their tree leaves, the tree buds are already open here, and the leaves are already starting to emerge. Sometimes that gets them into a little trouble if we have a late freeze and the leaves freeze and fall off, but they get a jump on it and try and get as much sunlight as possible early in the season. And so one of the first ones that a tree that comes out will be this buckeye. The ramps are bigger than they were last week, and more of them are coming up. A lot more green on the forest floor, a lot of ramps growing in various places out here. Most animals don't like the onion taste these things have, and so leave them alone. So they have nice big green juicy whole leaves. Another new spring green coming up along the trails is Dutchman's breeches, a poppy relative. The flower buds are there, but they're not quite open yet. Almost there. A lot of these early spring wildflowers have to come up now and get all the sunlight they can before the trees leaf out and cut off their supply of sunlight. So they'll be out early in the season, like now, trying to store up as much energy as they can. Toadshade trillium is starting to come up now too, just barely up through the ground. Flower buds are still closed. Eventually they will have a reddish flower on them, and the leaves have that kind of mottled camouflage appearance. We're going to get a little closer to the Dutchman's breeches now. Some of them have flower buds that will probably be open in a day or two. Almost there. Just ready almost to bloom, cutleaf toothwort. Flowers will be white 4-petal flowers when they're finally open. Almost there, not quite. We're another day or two away from having these out also. Should be quite a display of color coming up in the next few days here in the woods at Metea. Sometimes our spring flowers happen to come up in a bad place and end up coming up through a hole in a leaf, which limits how much they can expand or how much they can grow. See that on occasion with things like ramps or trilliums, and they just kind of, or mayaples also, and just kind of get stuck in a leaf like that. Last week we talked about the invasive exotic lesser celandine and how it's taking over some places in the woods. Here's one that actually has a flower on it. They aren't particularly unattractive, but they also displace our native wildflowers, and we'd rather have the natives here than ones from other places. Today's the first day we've been able to see bloodroot out. Bloodroot doesn't last very long. It only blooms for a day or so, and then will be gone, and the leaves will still be here, but the flowers will be gone. Growing right next to some cutleaf toothwort. A 6-spotted tiger beetle has shown up along the edge of the trail. Nice bright colors, white spots along the back. They are a predator that hunts on the ground for the most part and can be seen flying along the trails looking for other insects to eat. Another bloodroot flower. They have an unusual number of petals. It varies depending on the plant. And they have this leaf folded up at the bottom edge of them that will be opening after the flower is gone. With leaves a little more showy than the flowers, this is Virginia waterleaf. Looks like it has water spots on the leaves. And the flowers will be kind of purplish, not very showy when they come out later. The leaves are a little more showy than the flowers are on this one. One of them that's actually in bloom right now is purple cress. 4 leaves, like most cresses, are related to the mustards. It's one of the earliest flowers that's going to be out and blooming in the woods right now. Here's some ramps coming up with the remainder of last year's flowers still attached, still coming up from the ground. Still has a few seeds on it too from last year. There's a cutleaf toothwort that's just in the process of blooming. Just catching it. Just caught it while it was very early unfolding. Maybe we'll see a full bloom one yet while we're on our hike here. Hepaticas we just saw a little bit of last week are now out in full bloom. We've got purple, we've got kind of in between, and we have white. And they're being visited by pollinators and making quite a show along this south-facing hillside. There's a nice little bouquet of spring cress. Nice early bloomer. Little purple color. Won't be here on for long. Also have a few spring fungi in there with all the rain we've had lately. Left over from last year. These are the old stems from a plant called beech drops, which grows on the roots of beech trees, parasitizes beech trees. And there's one right there. And we found in the area where beeches and sometimes oaks are growing. Doesn't produce its own chlorophyll, can't make its own food from sunlight, has to take what it needs from the roots of the beech trees. You can come out and see some of these things in person. Come on out and visit. The park is still open. You can hike on the trails. We'd like to see you out here and see if you can find some of the same things we found on our hike today.